Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is like, as per, I'm talking about The Testament of Dr. Mabuse, directed by Fritz Lang, who has said, is like very outspoken about, this movie is about Nazis and like Nazis taking over Germany and kind of like the fear and like, just the bad vibes that brings with it.
Yeah. It is about like, it's reaching at some kind of like fundamental anxiety that you would be feeling as a German citizen at the time.
Yeah.
Though it is kind of in line with what Fritz Lang has been doing, which is ping-ponging back and forth between seriousness and pulp.
Mm-hmm.
And like, this is definitely pulp.
Yes.
This like M is a very like dark, serious movie.
Yeah.
And
for
then
sure.
like, and there's a character, like the police inspector character is like held over from the movie M.
Mm-hmm.
But in this movie, he's in like a proto James Bond, like proto Roger Moore James Bond, you know?
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, like Spies, it's very like, you know, Spectre and
Mm-hmm.
secret agents and
this
all
movie
this kind of
feels
stuff.
like Spies and M had a baby, kind of like.
Yeah.
It's like the pulpy like supervillain stuff from Spies meets the kind of like more grounded like crime procedural stuff from M.
Yeah.
This movie premiered in Budapest, Hungary, because it was immediately banned in Germany, like before it was even released. It did not play in Germany. They had to have the premiere in a different country because the Nazi propaganda machine was not a fan of this picture.
Yeah. I believe this is the last movie that Fritz Lang made in Germany.
Yes, he
before moving to the US.
Immediately after this movie, I think he left his wife, Thea von Harbu, and moved to the US, kind of like under threat of death. Like, I know that Goebbels tried to get Fritz Lang to be like the head of the Nazi propaganda machine. Like, he was like, we want you to like head the Nazi film industry, and Fritz Lang was like, no thank you. And so then he like had to kind of flee Germany in the night almost, because it was like he had people like staking out his house and things like that.
Yeah. We had kind of made some assumptions, I think, in previous episodes that he left his wife because of her association with Nazis, but I was reading up on Thea von Harbo, who wrote this movie. This was her final collaboration with him, too. They broke up like during the production of the movie. And it's a little unclear exactly what her associations with Nazis is. She stayed in Germany during the Nazi regime and collaborated on films with the Nazis. The specific reason that he left her was, I guess, Fritz Lang was always like going after other ladies, and so she finally did. They kind of they knew what was going on, but she finally did. And then Fritz Lang found her with another director, and then he called it off. So even though he's not the Nazi in this relationship, he is he's not a scoundrel.
Oh no,
either.
yeah, he was for sure a scoundrel. I mean, he like, on his Wikipedia page, there's stuff like he might have murdered one of his previous wives. We don't know. Like, Fritz Lang was a bit of a scoundrel for sure. I think scoundrel even is like too playful of a word. Like, he might have been a real piece of shit. I don't know, but this movie is I'm a fan.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
I didn't really expect this movie to be, I guess, what it is. I mean, this movie is a sequel to Dr. Mabuse the Gambler, which we
missed.
We missed because it's 4 hours long. But that movie is about a supervillain who like uses hypnosis and like commits all these crimes and then gets caught at the end. And then this movie is picking up where he has been, and like this movie was made like 10 years after that, and it's like in real time he has been locked up for 10 years in an insane asylum,
which is cool. Yeah,
I expected this movie to be like, oh, he's gonna break out of prison and like resume his crime empire. But I think the movie
you kind of want to think that for a while.
The movie is way more interesting than that, because it's more like he hypnotizes his doctor into like becoming the new Dr. Mabuse after he dies, which is crazy.
I wonder if it was like how much of it was hypnotizing and how much of it was the things that Dr. Mabuse wrote in his journals were so insane that they broke the mind of his therapist.
Right. It's like, it's kind of that too, but it's like Dr. Mabuse is such a like brilliant mind that is also insane and evil, that just like by being around him, it like corrupts you.
It's like a Harley Quinn situation.
Right. But it's like he's almost transferring like his own
his
criminal
essence.
mind, his own essence into his psychiatrist.
We see Dr. Mabuse like die in this, or like a carcass of
and I'm like,
cadaver.
Oh, he faked his death, and it's like, no, he really does die. But then it's
like he lives on, through
his ideas and his plans and plots.
So while he was in the asylum, he was like frenzied, scrawling all of these plans, very, very meticulous plans for crime operations. Mm-hmm. This is reading this, and also like his philosophy on spreading chaos through the world, and that is the testament of Dr. Mabuse, the titular testament. His kind of last will and testament, was so powerful that his empire was able to continue on without him. And so in a sort of like Videodrome Brian Oblivion fashion, the psychiatrist ends up taking the mantle of Dr. Mabuse, but then doing it only through voice. And his crime empire still exists, but it's propped up by like a Wizard of Oz phantom of the original Dr. Mabuse, hidden behind a curtain with a microphone and a silhouette to order people around.
Yeah, and Fritz Lang made a third Dr. Mabuse movie in the 60s that I think is also like a direct sequel to this movie of like Dr. Mabuse has been dead for 30 years, but somehow he's back. And they're, at least I think this one and the first one are based on like pulp crime novels, sort of like Fantomas-esque books. And I think in those there's like even more of a sense of like the supernatural around Dr. Mabuse. Like he might be like more of an evil spirit than a person who like possesses, like his like essence is like transferred from person to person.
Like Irma Vep.
I guess kind of, right, if we're going on by the Irma Vep like TV show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the like such a main like pillar of this movie is the idea that like ideas can be dangerous, and that like just the fact that Dr. Mabuse is like writing this stuff down. He doesn't even have to be like enacting all these criminal plans. Like as long as people are following his instructions, like it'll still happen. And even after he's dead, like he's still sort of like exerting his evil influence. Because also Dr. Mabuse's whole thing is like he's not in crime to like make money or to like grab power. Like he just wants, to paraphrase a movie directly inspired by this one, he just wants to see the world burn.
Yeah, Chris Nolan had his screenwriter watch this movie
his screenwriter, his brother.
The other Nolan.
Yeah, Jonathan Nolan.
I just realized that me and my brother have the same names as the Nolan brothers.
Do you have a secret third brother who's a con artist?
That's none of your concern.
Oh, well, damn.
Maybe.
But you can definitely see a lot of how much Christopher Nolan has sort of not necessarily directly lifted from this movie, but I think he's clearly a fan of Fritz Lang movies. And this movie is, I think, like this and Metropolis are the two that I think that is the most apparent in. Because yeah, there's definitely a lot of like supervillain Dark Knight stuff in this one.
And also, Metropolis is the name of where Superman lives.
True. And yeah, I think like Spies, there's a lot of like James Bond stuff. The sort of like literal man behind the curtain is very kind of Blofeld-esque. Even if it turns out to be an elaborate ruse in this one. There is some great like crime spy stuff of like the being locked in the room with the ticking bomb and having to
Yeah.
escape. That
Like
whole
having to use your wits to escape.
yeah, that whole section is great.
It is just like, as we were watching Spies, we were saying this, like, James Bond owes so much to these movies.
Yeah, like to a degree that I had no idea before watching them. Yeah.
Like, apart from like kind of like, I don't know, sort of, Spectre's an evil organization, but like it's not like talking about real organized crime stuff. And I think this does touch on this kind of gritty aspects of organized crime, where they talk about like, oh yeah, we're selling like cocaine, morphium, and cocaine, morphine, and opium.
Yeah.
Talking about actual drugs.
Yeah.
Instead of just making a reference to them.
Yeah, it's like, it is kind of, like I said before, like marrying the really pulpy James Bond stuff from Spies with the like really grounded like crime procedural stuff in M. Like, there's a bit in this where a guy is assassinated in his car during a bunch of honking horns, which is great. And then the cops investigating it are using like ballistics to like, the angle of the bullet, and like the bullet was clearly fired from this gun because we tested the bullet. We like compared the bullets being fired from different guns, and this one matches.
Yeah.
Which I think is I've never seen that in a movie before this, and it's really cool. And then besides the sort of like Dr. Mabuse, the guy, is like barely in this movie. He's only in like a couple of scenes. Mm-hmm. And then there's like the crazy hallucination of him, which is amazing.
Which Fritz Lang said that he regretted keeping the supernatural elements in.
Crazy, because that stuff is amazing.
Story.
Like, that stuff is so cool.
I think that like the double exposure, like he's seeing the phantom of Dr. Mabuse. I think that stuff's like, you could play that however, like that could just be like his imagination or that kind of thing, as the psychiatrist has been driven insane. But it goes as far toward the end of the movie as doing a like The Shining style, like the ghost is opening doors to help people out.
Well, it's like this guy thinks that a ghost opened the door, and then other people see that like it's not necessarily like no one else could have opened the door, but it's like from this one character's perspective, who is clearly is hallucinating and is unhinged. It's like, I don't know, it's ambiguous enough that I think it works as like, how did this door get opened? Maybe it was a ghost. We don't know.
Right. It's interesting, the ghosts.
Yeah. And that stuff is like, there's a lot of cool like expressionism stuff in this movie during when we're like in the heads of people who have gone mad. Kind of like, there's the doctors like seeing like phantoms of Dr. Mabuse and like hearing his voice talking to him and things like that. And there's also the guy who is like an informant for the cops, who is like driven insane, and then is like, there's a bit where he's like answering the phone, and we see like the room he's in is like a normal table and like chairs, but then we see it kind of from his perspective, and everything's made out of glass and like is transparent. Super cool.
Yeah, that's really neat. Them like trying to get information out of this informant, but his mind got so broken that like he cannot really tell them anything, and they're just trying to like divine what information they can out of his out of like the state that he's in, and like the things that he's saying. He's kind of like stuck in this moment of like pre-attack from when he was getting silenced by the gang.
Dr. Mabuse is played by Rudolph Kleinrock. I'm probably butchering that again, but this is what happens when I do no research. But he's the guy who played the mad scientist in Metropolis, and the supervillain guy in Spies also.
And he played Dr. Mabuse in the original.
Right,
also.
Yeah. He does not return in the third Dr. Mabuse movie, as far as I know.
Looks like he died before the 60s.
Yeah. But his voice in this movie is really, like, he's like talking in a whisper, and like people are just kind of hearing it in their own heads, and it's very unsettling. The kind of main characters they're actually following for most of it there's the police inspector, Lohman. That isn't the guy's name in M, but it is like almost the same character, right?
Yeah, he's Inspector Carl Lohmann in M as
Oh,
well.
okay. Oh, cool. So I guess this is
They
part
got
of
a bit of a
the Fritz Lang cinematic universe.
the Langaverse. It's like
Yeah.
a Tarantino thing where
Right.
you got your recurring characters.
Oh, that is cool though. I didn't really put that together. So the police inspector from M is also in this movie, and smokes lots of cigars and is a hard ass. Then we also follow Tom and Lily, and Tom is a criminal who works for Mabuse's like crime gang, but he's also in love with Lily and is sort of torn between
He's trying to get out.
the two worlds. Yeah,
He's haunted by. He doesn't want to kill nobody, and
Yeah.
he's haunted by the killing that he's done. But he can't get out of the criminal gang.
he does eventually confess to Lily that he went to jail for murdering his last girlfriend. And Lily's like, that's okay. I forget. You seem okay. And it's like, okay. I would take that as a bit of a red flag, but
Like, yeah, let's just hit the brakes for a
yeah,
second.
Lily is very understanding. But so, yeah, eventually Tom fails to show up to work at crime. him and Lily are put in the sort of like secret meeting room and find out that the man behind the curtain is just a speaker and like a wooden cutout. And they're locked in and there's a ticking. So they're going to get blown up if they can't escape. And there's the whole scene of them trying to like cut through the ceiling, like pull up the floorboards and get to the floor. Like they can't get out of the room. So Tom decides to break the pipes to flood the room so that when the bomb goes off, the force will be dissipated through the water. And then the bomb will open a hole in the floor that they can escape out of.
It's also got this like whole like there's other plot stuff happening at the same time, so it's sort of like doing this thing that's done in a lot of movies these days, which is just like, you know, you've got like this tense scene, and you keep kind of like coming back to it as it develops.
Yeah.
While like and like the other scenes that it's intercutting with are kind of relieving some of the tension, but then creating some of their own tension at the same time.
A lot of the editing in this movie rules. Like there's a lot of like intercutting between different kind of like parallel scenes happening. There's lots of like a character starting a conversation and then like we cut away to a different scene, but that conversation carries over into it because that's what they're talking about. There's a really great transition where someone holds up a photo of someone and then it like transitions to that person like, sitting in the exact same position.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like so many different like kind of threads that we're following that it's sort of jumping between them all really well. And then it kind of ends with like Mabuse's plan works. Like he blows up this factory and like releases poison gas into the air. And it's like it's only after that they kind of like figure out that he's sort of like imprinted his own mind onto his psychiatrist.
Right, like the success of the movie is that they have determined what's going on, but like his plans were good and he won.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, like his plan isn't like it's just to like mess up Germany, basically. Fritz Lang really being subtle on that one.
You were talking about the cigars that Lohmann smokes, and I forgot to bring up that cigarette bit was in Gold Diggers.
Right.
That was also in Popeye. Do you have anything else on the Testament of Dr. Mabuse?
I don't think so. I mean, I really liked this one a lot and was very surprised by the twists and turns that it took.
Yeah, it's a fun one. 1933 is a solid year.
Very good movie year. Yeah.